Hey, what's up, everyone? Welcome to Los Libertinos podcast. I am your host, Carlos Avelar. This is Chingazos and Fire, brand new episode. It's a unique one because we have a special guest, a local guest, one of my buddies from high school, soccer buddy, my realtor. I've known him for many years, and to me, he's always been a good vato to me and my family, AJ Reygadas.
Thank you, man.
AJ is nationally known because he's a top 100 Latino realtors in the country, and he's a Latino top 10 in the city. So what we want to do today is try to have a conversation where we're just going to talk some real estate shop, talk about what he has kind of going on in his personal side, talk a little politics, talk a little sports, talk whatever we want. Like we would have a conversation at playing pool, having some beers. So I appreciate that he's here, and I hope you like the content. And salud, man.
Salud.
All right, you ready to play?
Let's do it.
Let's do it. All right. She goes, hey, we're stuck at home and family's coming over. Why don't we get a pool table? I was like, yes. Like, you don't gotta convince me. Like that's badass. Like I would
Space for it.
So yeah, that's how we got into this, and so yeah, man, it's been pretty fun.
Yeah. No, it's been a while. I did go when I was younger, but I'm gonna be honest, I didn't go to play. I went for the chicks.
Oh yeah.
I went for the chicks.
We used to play. Well, yeah, you go and to me, I was like Stony D's had all more of like the gangster kind of style music, right? It was more a little bit more on the hood style.
The SAISD kids. The SAISD product.
All right, let me get one of these sticks here. Yeah, man. So how's business?
The scope that I have now, right? Because throughout the years, with me being in the business for this month is 11 years, right? And the first, I would say, 4 years of that, I was on my own. I was by myself, right? I didn't have a team. And then I grew a team. Now we're talking about I have a brokerage. Now I have 15 agents that I'm responsible for. So as we meet every week, as I'm almost daily diving into helping them troubleshoot or work on deals, negotiate deals, I have a bigger, broad view now versus just my deals that I work on. And so it's crazy to see how much more I get to see with the market trend, right? Versus
because you're more at a macro, like
exactly. It's more like an aerial view now.
Like bird's eye view, right? They call that like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's more like a GC.
Yeah.
Because I'm like a
there
GC,
there you
but
go.
you have a lot of components that are
Yeah.
moving.
Yeah.
You got to make sure that they're flowing.
Yeah.
All right.
It's been good, man. The real estate market, as everybody knows, like the real estate market's hot. It seems like every year it gets hotter and hotter and hotter, but this year, man, I'm not gonna lie, it's a whole another ball game. And
Like Inferno?
Yeah, man. It's
That's why this conversation has to be had, because I want to know what's going on in the streets.
Yeah.
But also for anybody that's watching, and this so this is gonna be obviously San Antonio / Texas / national.
Yeah.
And our thing's gonna be more local talk, but I want to get into a lot of subjects in this, and like I said in the intro, I also want to talk about some of your lifestyle health changes, a lot of that stuff. You've also, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think you've also kind of turned more religious or turned more. So all of those factors probably put you in a place where you can do this type of work because you're in a good place. So I want to get into all that stuff.
Yeah.
Cool.
Definitely. It's a hot seat, but I'll do it.
Yeah. No, it's all meant to be fun, but ready to rack and play.
Let's do it.
So we'll just play regular style and all that shit, man. Ain't nobody's.
I hope these viewers give me some slack though, man.
Oh no, man. Nobody. Yeah. See, just.
All right. Give me your strips.
Fair enough.
Nice.
What kind of so when you say Inferno, to me that means that it's ridiculous. And I don't know if I'm saying that word right, but it's like hey, there's hot, and there's like, hey, what the fuck is going on here? Like, you're like, me estoy quemando los pinche pies. Like, what's going on here? Like, everything, right? What's the jump? Like.
I experienced anything like it before out of the 11 years that I've been in the business, and what makes it even more crazier now is, I kid you not, man, like every week when we meet with my agents, there's a constant adjustment going on, right? Like I'll give you an example. I had multiple clients that I ran CMAs, right? Comparable market analysis to give them an
Estimate for
what they should be able to sell their home for, maybe in the spring. That was all in January. From January till the end of February, those numbers jumped at least by 20 grand on average, right? So when it came springtime, when these clients that I spoke with in January, because this is when the big boom started this year, was late February, the end of February, beginning of March is when it really just exploded.
Can I throw out a theory that it's just a theory that I have just to freestyle here a little bit? And actually, you could, I want you to say no because then I'm wrong. Are people or families combining forces with their stimmy checks to put good down payments down? Is that part of, or like why, I don't know, I'm asking, hey, there's some people didn't need that stimmy check, but they still got it. And it's like, hey, let's put a good down payment down towards, I don't know, I'm asking, is that really going on?
So political side of me, people didn't need that stimmy check. We're not seeing those buyers.
It's just
that's different.
So that's not even a factor.
Not at all.
So the factor is still going to be the California stuff.
That's the biggest driver. So it's the biggest driver right now is the California buyers, we have to look at it as growth, right? For the state, it's going to better the state, but with that comes some hurt, right? It's some pain, some growing pains. I should say growing pains,
there you go.
right? Because we're hurting our locals, are the ones that are, the how should I say, like the homegrown buyers, right? The people that are from San Antonio, the first time buyers.
Yeah, they're getting out.
Yeah.
What is it called? Outbid, right? Basically.
They're getting outbid, man. And I've never seen this before, so it was all new to me when apparently this is normal in California. From what I've talked to a lot of real estate friends in California, they're like, yeah, that's the norm. We've been doing that for years, where buyers are coming in and they're offering 20 to 100,000, depending on the price point, 20 to 100,000 above the asking price, and still losing their offers, right? They're waiving inspection periods, which that's a big liability and a big risk for a home buyer.
That's the inferno. Those are little inferno characteristics.
Yes,
that weren't happening before.
And the ultimate kicker out of this inferno that we're experiencing is buyers, which are in California. Buyers are coming in and saying, "Hey, we'll offer 100,000 above the asking price, and we'll waive the appraisal contingency." Meaning that say the house is 300,000, we're going to offer you 400,000. If it doesn't appraise for 400,000, then we will come out of pocket that difference from what it appraises for.
That's what the term is called.
And so it's crazy, man, because now you got your first time buyers, right? Where they can't do that. They can't afford to do that. These are young millennials or even your fixed income that are downsizing can't afford to do that, So it's unfortunate because a lot of people are exhausting their 401ks, their savings, just to compete, man.
Oh, man.
And so here's the thing. The crazy part of this, which is going to sound very contradicting, because I'm in the business to sell real estate. Yeah. I'm in the business to help you buy a home. Yeah. But I'm telling buyers right now, if you don't have to buy a home, wait. Yeah.
Okay. So you're giving advice that is counter, but you're taking care of your clients.
Yes. Because at the end of the day, I want to do the right thing.
Yeah.
Right. And that's all honesty. I want to do the right thing. I don't want to put people in bad situations where they're going to exhaust their 401k or their savings to end up broke or overpaying, right? Because they're overpaying right now. And I hate to say it, man, but for years to come, the people that bought in 2021 that paid above the asking price, that paid above appraised value, they're going to be underwater for years. So let me give you an example. So back in 2004, 2006, when the market was booming, they were doing the same thing. It took a good 4 or 5 years for those same people that bought to not be underwater, right? And I'm not even talking about all states. California, it took them even longer, right? They've always been underwater, it seems. But right now with what we're experiencing, just chatting with my buddies that are also in the business that handle this a little bit more than I do, they're like, man, this is going to be 8 to 9 years to recover from, as far as the people that are buying this year that are going to be underwater.
When the downturn hits.
Yes.
Which we don't know. Which we don't know when it's going to hit. Because nobody knows, but when you have an inferno, you definitely have to, at a certain point, the graph has to start.
For sure.
Well, that's good, man. That's good that you're like telling your people what's up. Like, when I talk to family and friends, I'll tell them like, hey, man, just be careful. It's probably a boom, but I've been saying that for like a bunch of years. We sold those couple of houses that we did. And you told me like, hey, you know what you could probably sell those for? And I was like, shit.
What did we sell those for? Like 120, 130, right?
Something like that, yeah.
Oh, brand new too, man. And those things now, easy over 200,000. Maybe 230. I'm not even lying. That's not.
Are you serious,
bro? There's houses.
We sold in 2017.
Continental going for
those helped us get this house.
Yeah. So
damn, like that.
It's crazy, bro. It's crazy.
Well, that's good to know because I got a couple houses in the hood.
Yeah, man. And that's the part that, like with first time buyers that want to stay in the hood, they're even like, man, I have to pay $200,000 for a house like this. When 5-6 years ago this could have gone for $150, now it's going for $220, $230.
So I don't know how the real estate stuff, how they kind of teach it or not teach it. I'll go ahead, man. I'll wait for your shot there. But
oof.
We didn't even work. We're just going, hey, we gotta get some drinks and we're chilling and we'll get warmed up. Okay, are the rents staying parallel to the sales of the houses?
They are.
Wait, so rents are going
Rents
up
are going
with
up too.
Okay, so this is another question that I got, and that's are these houses, are these California people actually living in them, or is it just investors from California that are just buying and saying, hey, you know what I'm saying? Like they want to put their money somewhere or something because, or I don't know, I'm asking or are these people actually moved, because they had a house and they sold it.
Yeah.
And now they're like, hey, we got some money, we can get a lot more value over there,
Yeah. I'll tell you this. I mean, yes, so that is a factor, but it's not the investors from California. It's not as big as a factor as you might think. It is more of Californians relocating to Texas. And I'll tell you even this, it seems like almost every California person that I've talked to that's relocating to Texas are conservatives, and they're fed up with what's going on in California.
That is that narrative going on.
Yeah, it's look at Joe Rogan, look at Elon Musk, right?
Okay,
these are all big profile people that are fed up, right? I mean, granted, they got bigger reasons to.
Yeah.
We're talking about multi-million-dollar, billion-dollar businesses.
Yeah, plus no state tax here.
But your conservatives in California are fed up with the havoc that's going on in California, and they're like, screw that, let's go to Texas. It's the most conservative, one of the most conservative states.
So it is that there is a trend of that.
Yeah.
Okay, well,
sure.
A lot of the right, a lot of the right will say like, oh, don't. What do they say? Like, don't California my Texas. but it sounds like it shouldn't be like that, right?
Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, look, I'm not going to go and tease Californians for moving here. They want a part of Texas. They want to be a Texan. You can't knock them for that. At the end of the day, they want to be a Texan. So, but it does suck for the first time buyer, for your millennial buyers, for the people that just want an opportunity to buy something that are from here. They are getting squeezed out of the market. And we're starting to see more and more where, honestly, man, it's common to see a first-time buyer go through about 13 different homes that they've made offers on and still lose out. To where at some point that breaking point comes where it's an emotional experience. And so our whole goal...
So they would have 13 contracts, but they put an offer.
Yes, 13 different times. That's
to different properties.
That's different properties. Okay, I put an offer on this house, I lost. Okay, I found this one, I like this one, let's make an offer on this one, I lost again. Okay, and because a lot of these houses have 20, 30 offers on them, and they're all above asking price. And you see your first-time buyer, they already have a hard time wrapping it around their head that they don't want to offer asking price. They want that wheel and deal. They want to negotiate. That doesn't exist right now.
All right, so then, man, I think I might have then Vanessa and I then bought this home at maybe way before that because I remember we came here to get this house, which ended up being kind of like our dream house. We were like, I remember like we were the first ones to come in to see it, and I just said whatever they're asking for, give it to them. But those people, the previous owners, they were straight up.
Yeah.
Because I think you had mentioned, somebody else offered more.
Yeah.
But they said, hey, you gave them what you without doing any. I remember I just said whatever they want, give it to them.
Yeah.
I think we're getting a good deal here.
Yeah.
But if that was happening now, like the realtor would say, hey, hold off. There's going to be more.
And that's, so I'll tell you this much. You did the right thing with buying this house because this is a once in a lifetime opportunity type of house, man. You have a beautiful home with the view of the skyline. Like, I don't know if your guests know that, but like a lot of people in the city are going to be jealous of you if they see this backyard, And so, but you're right. And that is part of the problem, man. So, like the part of the problem that I'm seeing right now, and it's unfortunate, right? Because there's always some type of professional in this industry that contributes to the problem. Just like the last recession, realtors had a part in that. Appraisers had a big part of that. Banks had a big part of that, right? It was a mixture of many things where now, and I hate to say this because I know I'm going to get heat for this from realtors, but the problem right now is that realtors, listing agents, are educating their sellers and saying, don't accept that offer. We'll get something above asking price, and guess what? We can probably even get them to waive their appraisal to where they'll pay out of pocket that difference. At the end of the day, that's the seller's right to get the best offer that they can. So you can't knock that, right? And it's their agent's responsibility to do the fiduciary duty, what's in the best interest of their client, right? So you can't knock that. But at what point do we draw that ethical line, right? Because we also have an ethical obligation to the Texas Real Estate or Texas Association of Realtors, Texas Real Estate Commission. We have an ethic guideline that we have to follow. And at what point are we crossing that if we're saying, seller, you didn't know this, but I'm going to share with you, buyers are now willing to pay above the appraisal price now for your home. And if we hold out on this first time buyer, I guarantee we're going to get a cash buyer, conventional buyer that's saying, oh, well, I'll waive the appraisal. We'll pay out of pocket the difference. That's the part that disturbs me a little bit.
But that's a hard one because if I ever wanted to sell this house, I'd want the...
You're right. That's what I'm saying.
Or if you ever sold your house, you'd also want...
So that's the part that's like, I'm stuck in the middle of doing, like, what's the right
So then you
thing?
feel like something morally rubs you the wrong way.
Morally, there you go. Morally, right?
And you still have you got to take away the moral because you have a fiduciary,
Because now if I don't do that, guess what? Now I'm crossing that line of fiduciary duty to my client.
That's the word. I said something about fishing or some shit. I think it's on me. Yeah, man, that's interesting. No, man, that's so then is it just luck when people luck when somebody just gets like, hey, they accepted and this or that, or is it the relationship that you might have with that listing agent and stuff like that?
Too. So majority of it is pure luck, but like what I'm telling a lot of agents right now. So for instance, this year alone, I've already done 11 transactions that never went on the market. Meaning that I knew the listing, say we're getting ready to sell your home. In 2 weeks you want me to put it on the market. But you know what? You occupy the property, right? And so because you occupy and you're also scared of COVID, right? You don't want 30 families on that first day coming through your home while you're occupying because you have a baby on the way, right? And so think of it. So now my approach to my seller is because you occupy the property, because you're scared of COVID, which you have every right to be, right? That's you. I can probably sell your home before it goes on the market. Now, we might not get a bidding war, but I can get it sold before it goes on the market where we'll get what we want, if not above what we want, and we'll still be a done deal.
Yeah.
And a lot of sellers are like, yeah, let's do that because we live here, right? Now, if it's vacant, that's a different story. Yeah. Now it's going to go on the market.
Yeah, you give them the option.
Yeah, and so that's where I relied heavily on all the relationships I've built over the years with other realtors in the industry, where I call them up and I'm like, hey, I got this listing. It's almost like a pocket listing, right? We call it pocket listings. I got this listing coming up.
That's the term for it?
Yeah. I got this listing coming up in 2 weeks. I'll give you a crack at it first. My sellers occupy it. They don't want a ton of showings. So if you got a buyer, let me know. We're going to list at $200,000. You better come in at least at $200,000. And so they usually come in above. Just
to give the hey, thank you.
Yes, the thank you that I don't have to compete.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's the norm.
Well, that's cool. Then I would think that I would think that the people that sold this house were probably in that vein. That they were like, they had said they wanted to retire and all that, so they were just ready to sell, to whoever offered them what they were asking for. And I always thought that was kind of cool. I don't even remember the time that we had to come, like, you had said, oh, remember the Vato was out here, like, he's a big old dude, and he was all, like, Vatoed out, and, like, oh, you had said, oh, he said that they're already moving, but they got some shits doing there. You remember a little bit of that?
Man, I'm not gonna lie, I have a hard time remembering.
So, like, you had said, hey, we gotta check out the house before you get it, because you just never know.
Yeah. Much as the market's hot right now, I'm gonna be honest, man, I'm not the biggest fan of it. I'm really not, so.
Yeah, well.
I think it needs to taper out. It needs to level out, which it will. I think we're seeing signs where it's starting to curve. People keep saying, are we in a bubble? I think we're in a bubble, but when it pops, it's not going to be recession 2008. It's not going to be like that. It's going to slow.
You're on record, right? This is you're on record saying it's not that you don't think it's going to be that bad.
Not that bad.
Why?
Because there's too much regulation involved.
So the regulation helped.
Yes.
Are you saying it did cause? It helped.
It's a hard one, man. So it did and it didn't, because there's a lot of regulation.
Because usually, like, I come from the side that would say, no, they're causing another problem that's coming, and so my point of view would be like, actually, you know what? And I was telling you before, like, that's why I want to have this conversation. Yeah. That I haven't had a real estate conversation in a long time, because I don't know, man. Like, I've been doing this podcast thing, so I get into whatever subject matter for the week and stuff. So and the real estate stuff hasn't been in my radar, because in general I think it's a bubble.
Yeah.
And just like, the houses that we had got a long time ago were after the recession. Yeah. So we got deals. Yeah. Like, there's deals. Yeah. And I just think there's deals coming. So, I like to talk real estate. We got together and we said, okay, well, let's communicate. But also in the podcast, I'm someone that pushes, like, Texas secession. so in that spirit, you might not even know it, but you're being a Texas nationalist, or like,
I guess you
say, hey, I want to take care of Tejanos or San Antonios, you go down the line of sovereignty, hey, all the way down to your client.
Yeah.
Right next to you, whether it's a seller or buyer, So, what is your take on Texas secession? Because I like to bring that up a lot, because, it's part of my agenda.
It's your libertarian view.
I favor the idea of an independent Texas.
Yeah.
The idea of what I come at it is that Texas should win a World Cup before the United States does. And I've been saying this for like 10 years, man. I mean, I don't know if you know that, locally for many years I was getting invited to like a local radio show, and I would say and I would say this shit. I used to call in and just talk a lot of shit, and they said, okay, come on in. And
that's how it happened?
Yeah, I would just call it.
How did he get thrown on with these 3 old white men?
I would just call.
Mexican guy that's trying to diversify.
Yeah. No. I was there to talk shit, man. I get it, But if they allow me to talk shit, I'll talk shit. There's a bigger platform than me just saying, hey, quiero que te case. No. So I would say that, but it wasn't received, right? They just thought it was funny. Yeah. They would say, what happens if Texas secedes? What about the Cowboys? Or what about this? Or what about the Spurs? And I would say, hey, just like the way Canada has teams, would an NFL really be worth a shit without the Cowboys or the Texans? Would baseball be worth a shit without the Rangers and the? Yeah. So no. So we would figure out a way to make it work, and I try to do it through sports. So I just put it out there. So if somebody goes, "Nah, está loco ese way," yeah, maybe, but I just put it out there like, hey, Texas can win a World Cup before the United States does, and I wouldn't be surprised if it happens, because you just never know how shit goes,
You're right.
What do you think about the whole U.S. winning the Gold Cup the other day?
Yeah, man, they just.
So
Mexico had it wasn't their AA team,
yeah,
but it was
but it was not the
relative
US's
to the
AA team
relative to the U.S. It was their A team and the U.S. But I don't know. I mean, they had players in the Olympics. It's Mexico is still but we've had a good run here. We didn't even make the World Cup last time. That sucks.
So
man.
that's the
that
part
sucks for like US.
It's so crazy, because I think it was like maybe 2 months ago, where I think US. Who did we lose to? We lost to someone to lose to get into the Olympics, right? Who was it? I
don't remember, man.
We lost to someone that we shouldn't have lost to. It was like Turco. I can't even pronounce the small little country that has like 200,000 people, and we lost to them, and so because of that, we didn't get to go and compete in the Olympics. And so they were like, this is a disgrace to the country. We're one of the wealthiest countries and blah, 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 which is true. But the way they were shitting on our nation's team, to then now fast forward 2 months, I mean, Alexi Lalas was crying the other night, and it was cool to see, but it's like, man, just give us some chances.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
know?
So
like,
you mean the commentary was...
The commentary was...
Okay, because I was about to say, like...
and it's hard to shit on them because these are pros that used to play for the U.S., right? That are well-recognized, highly decorated professional soccer players that have retired. But it's like, man, like, cut the team some slack for giving what we have and all the politics behind it that we still have to face. You know, we're never going to be a dominant national soccer team. I hate to say that. I wish, but
because we don't have. We're talking, you know, before the whole what do they call it? It's like a regulation, relegation system where the teams get dropped. No, ours is you know, if you're the shittiest team in MLS, you stay there. You know, to me that's like, you know, it's a protectionist racket that you got to have the money to get into these. See, if anyway, that's another thing, which is the relegation system, you know. Hey, what's up, everyone? Thanks for checking out the show. Be sure to support our efforts here by checking out palomaverdecbd.com. It is a online store that my wife and I run, and you get 25% off by using the promo code Chingazos. And just in case you guys don't know, it's not in my nature to be interviewing people like this, but if you like what I'm putting out, just know that I'm on some CBD, you know. I take a gummy about an hour before I know I'm gonna do the show, and about 20 minutes before the show, I'll take some drops, just takes the edge off, and then I just get into it. So if that's something that sounds like, oh, in your life, you do some other stuff that might benefit you to take the edge off before you get into some shit, try some CBD products. So go to palomaverdecbd.com, use the promo code Chingazos, get 25% off anything in the store. Peace. Notice that for sure in the last, I guess 3, 4, maybe 5. I mean, you could say it. You started shifting towards healthier habits, lifestyle, fitness. I guess competing too on different levels and eating. But you still got your cheat days for sure, man. Cause
look at this. This is what I told you. This is like a low calorie, low carb beer right here, man.
Hey, you're sponsoring or what? Hey.
I know, right? I'm gonna lose my man card for all my boys too. That are gonna be like, wow, what are you drinking that low calorie drink for?
So yeah, man, what caused it? Because you know, it's a positive move and a positive step to try to better your health.
So first off, did you ever see that picture that I did, the before and after?
I saw you post something. That panza was rolling, dude.
Oh, to this day, people are like,
I ain't talking shit. I got one too, but we all got one.
No, but it was bad. Like I was 250 pounds.
Oh.
250 pounds, man. Not muscle, right? And so.
Pinche tacos, right?
But no, yeah, I was, you know, I like to eat out all the time at restaurants and wine and dine and travel and eat and drink. And so, but honestly, man, like what's crazy, a lot of people don't know, like what ultimately changed my ways with my diet was, it was about 7 years ago. I wanted to get a life policy, right? For my kids. And I was like, man, in case something happens with the money I'm making right now, like this would be detrimental to my kids for their future if I died. And so I was so offended, man. I guess I was in denial. But when they did my physical and all that, they were like
BMI, right? Body, whatever the fuck.
And they were like,
right?
You have 33% body fat, right? And I was like, what does that mean? And they're just like, because I wasn't even going to the gym yet, right? So I was like, what does that mean? And they're like, well, you're technically considered obese. And I was like, fuck, I am. No, I'm not. Like, you don't know me. Like, and so sure enough, man, that's when I started looking in the mirror and I was like, damn, maybe this is what obese looks like, you know? And so I think what ultimately pissed me off even more, mad at myself, was they were like, because you're considered obese, we have to charge you more for at the time I got $1 million policy at that time, and so they were like, we have to charge you more. I think they called it a premium or something like that, and I was so pissed off. It was like $30 more a month.
To them, you're just a number, but the numbers to them don't lie, and they're saying that if you're obese, you can get into complications, and they got to pay out a policy. They don't want to. They got to charge you more.
Yeah, they said I was borderline diabetic, and diabetes runs in my family, you know, and so
So I was so blown away by it because I was like, man, there's just no way. But then again, if they're saying it, it must be true. And so I started eating right, or eating better. I shouldn't say eating right, because when I think of eating right, I think of people that are strict diets. You know, I don't do that. I eat better, right? I eat better. I still like to snack. Like my biggest weakness is my late night snacks, right? But I work out a lot now, right? Like now, we've been busy lately, but now I work out, 4 or 5 days out of the week. And I eat better. I eat smaller portions. I eat throughout the day, and yeah, man, I lost over 60, almost 60 pounds, and
Yeah. So this is not a man. I guess I wouldn't say it's not a normal thing in the Latino community, but it's not to have this type of conversation between Latinos to be like, oh, you're talking, like, hey, you're talking about that. I know. I know I got my panza and I got all that shit, but yeah, I still only eat once a day. If I was eating 3 times a day, I know I'd be pinche gordo more, And then I know if I eat better in the 1 time a day that I eat, I would lose weight, and I wouldn't do it without exercise. So we're trying to better ourselves. So what do you think it is in the Latino community or the culture that makes that happen? Are our moms and grandmas at fault for making delicious food?
Yes, I mean, I hate to throw my mom under the bus, man, but at the end of the day, I grew up where I couldn't leave the table unless I finished my plate, and my plate wasn't a normal portion plate that you might see in the American family household, right? Your plate is filled, it's seeping off of the plate, like you got food falling off your plate, and if you didn't finish it, you couldn't leave the table. My stepdad wouldn't let me leave the table, so I had created a habit of not only eating fast, because people make fun of me that to this day about that. I eat fast.
Yeah. I when I was talking to that Cole Robinson, I said, hey, I'd like to interview you because I'd like for you to talk to the Latinos your style, because sometimes some people need to get woken up by someone saying straight up, hey, fatty.
Yeah.
You basically that was what was told to you via your insurance policy, and you didn't like it,
bro.
And you had to like snap out of it in your own way to try to better yourself for your family, your health, long term, and all that stuff.
Even during that time, when I first found out from the company that I was obese, my daughters would even, or it was only Audrina at that time, but Audrina would be like, "You're fat," I walk around without my shirt and man boobs and my panza sticking out. And she'd be like, "You're fat." And it would hurt my feelings. I'm like,
quiere llorar.
In my head, I'm like, you little shit. This is muscle right here. But yeah, man, like it was just, it was the constant just pressure of feeling like, man, I need to lose weight.
Has it been easier to do that since I've noticed that you've had a change towards like being more faith oriented? And those have been the 2 major things that I've seen in your life, because we follow, we're on our, you follow through Facebook and there's like, hey, what's going on in your life? What's going on, stuff's going on. And since we've always respected each other, we know what's going on. And I also noticed that, you started being more faith-based. Can you kind of get into that, how you got into that? Because that's, I'm not very religious, but I respect anyone that does, because it's still a positive thing.
Exactly. It's definitely positive, man. And that's been the biggest takeaway from it, is how my outlook on a lot of things, on almost everything now, is always in a positive aspect. And I'll get into that, but to this day, I have people always telling me like, man, you're always so positive. You're always so positive. And don't get me wrong, I have my days, right? I have my days where I'll pity myself. I have a bad day. I'm down and out. But for the most part, I always try to look at a positive when I have a negative in front of me, right? It's like, what's the best way? How are you going to get up from this, right?
The positive angle.
So it was about 4 years ago where, I was in a relationship at the time, and she had told me, and I'll never forget, she was like, what I love about you the most is you have a beautiful heart, right? And I'm like, okay, cool, thank you. She's like, but you're missing God in your life.
Oh, okay.
And I'm like, okay, whatever that means, like that's how I saw it. I grew up Catholic, but it was.
Are you saying it's about a girl? It's always been about a girl.
I wouldn't say it's about a girl, but it was influenced.
I know. I'm just messing with you.
And it's funny. My testimony is actually a pretty funny story because it refers to the relationship I was in. But growing up, I was a Catholic, right? But I was forced upon, like it was forced on me, right? We had to get up, dress up, put on a tie on Sunday morning.
When you start talking pinche
and my ADD, like I could never hear the message in a Catholic church because it's very formal, very boring, very monotone. And so I never connected, right? And then when I got in my 20s, I got very politically driven. So I let my political views get in the way of my religious views. And I started, condemning Christians, which was what I am now, right? Like that's their religion. Let them have their own faith. And I hate to say it, but you find that a lot in the Catholic religion and in the Christian religion, but more so the old school mentality, right? The new school mentality, especially with the non-denominational Christian views, is very more open, right? And it's very like, you love who you want to love and I'll support you, right? Like at the end of the day, we all are going to answer to God, but we're all also guilty of sin, right? We all sin. It'd be wrong for me to condemn you for sin, or what I may consider a sin, when I know I've sinned myself and I'm going to continue to sin, right? I'm a Christian, and I know I'm going to continue to sin. It's just the mentality of knowing when you're in that moment, if you know and you're aware if you're doing right from wrong, right, or wrong from right. And so, so sure enough, I was in a relationship. She took me to church one time, and I'll never forget. She was like, "Hey, you can wear jeans and tennis shoes." And I'm like, "What? What do you mean?" And she's like, "Yeah, dress however you want." Again, growing up Catholic, I wore a tie. So sure enough, wearing jeans and in a non-denominational church, it was 30 minutes of worship. So that was weird to me, right? Like it was like, why am I standing up and hearing all these people around me sing? Like that was weird. And so even afterwards, she's like, "What did you think?" And I was like, "It was all right. It was weird. I felt uncomfortable."
Different.
Yeah, different. Sure enough, ultimately we broke up right after that, right? So here's part of my testimony. So we broke up. Well, I started going to that church, hoping that she would see me there.
It's always about a girl.
For the wrong reasons, right? Initially, it was for the wrong reasons. So I would go to that church and hoping that she would see me there. Mind you, it's a church where each service can sit about 3,000 people.
Okay.
So I'm sure she never saw me. I never saw her, right? So it was about 3 times I went, hoping like, man, is she here? Does she see me? I'm all styled up. And finally one day I actually paid attention to the message and I broke down in tears, man.
Oh, man.
So I went back the next week. I started crying again. Went back for 4 weeks straight. I was crying in service. And I remember calling him and I'm like, "Bro, I don't know what's going on with me, but I keep crying in church." He's like, "It's the Holy Ghost, man. Just embrace it."
Oh,
He's like, "I'd love for you to come to my church, but if that's what's working for you, stay there." And I was just like, "Cool, thank you." And so I kept going, and it's crazy, man. I started going for myself instead of for that girl.
Yeah.
And now here I am inviting my friends, my family. I got friends and family that go to church with me now.
Yeah.
But my whole outlook on everything is so much more influential and positive than it was before, right? And so now it's like, it bothers me to miss a service, right? It really does bother me. If I go out of town, I'm trying to log on so I can watch it, thankfully.
So which means also your Saturday nights are more calmado, right? Because
okay.
you're like, I'm still a sinner.
Yeah,
I'm still gonna get
so what I'll say, it's funny because I'll joke about it, right? But if I don't have my kids that weekend and I plan on going out Saturday night, I might go to the Saturday service. So I know
strategic.
Early Sunday. I know, and he's probably going to be upset, but yeah, I might go to a Saturday service. I hate to use the word "get it out of the way," but I want to get the message still. But I still don't trust myself that I'll wake up and be disciplined enough to wake up.
Nobody's perfect.
To go to church. So
nobody's perfect.
Again, man, I love it and it works for me, but it plays a big influence on my personal life, on my business life, on the choices that I make, on how I lead my clients.
Yeah.
Right. What we were talking about earlier.
The morality of it. Yeah.
Yeah, my moral views. Like I try my best to do the right thing consciously now. So,
yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So yeah, man, I'd like to thank you for coming on.
Yeah.
I hope the audience out there kind of like this style. This is a new way of doing it. I'd like to continue this way. If you guys like it, give me some feedback. Give us some feedback. Exactly. Because for any type of local interviews, I'd like to do it this way because maybe there's a different connection that you can have, and I respect you for what you do in your life with your family, with what you do in business and all that. So I'm very happy you came on. And for anybody that wants to know how to get a hold of AJ, I'll put it in the show notes. Actually, you can plug in where they can reach you at if you want to. Go ahead, man.
Yeah. Just First Choice Realty Group is my company. AJ Reygadas. Can I give my phone number?
Yeah, man.
Okay. So phone number 210-313-5554. My agents and I would love to help anybody with the buying and selling process. When you come to us, just know you're going to be taken care of. We exceed expectations because we're a referral-based business. Me and all of my agents are 100% referral-based business. So we don't look to just meet expectations. We look to exceed expectations.
Perfect. And just like I said, this was meant to be a conversation. It was meant to be a casual conversation. I hope you got something out of it. And I'd like to have you back on in the future.
For sure, bro.
Salud, man.
Salud.
Peace.
Thank you.